Hello, folks. This is Panther Pickle with the Blue&Black podcast. You know me, you know us. We're here to give you the honest truth about the Carolina Panthers as we see it. I heard Bill Polian yesterday talking on XM Radio about the Panthers, the Green Bay game, and Bryce Young. And you know what, real quick, folks, Bryce Young, to me, is not my profile quarterback. He's not tall enough. He's not muscular enough. He doesn't have a big, great arm. But you know what? He's still the Carolina Panthers quarterback. A lot of folks are trying to separate that issue. I'm going to cheer for Bryce regardless because he's the Panther quarterback. When it changes, I'll change. But till then, that's how it is. But don't ask me how I feel because I'll tell you how I feel. Now, but y'all click, like, and subscribe to the Blue&Black podcast where you'll get the honest truth. And listen, if you don't like something, let us know. Keep pounding. And by the way, listen to what Bill Polian has to say.
He's gone through some growing pains, but now the fog seems to be clearing. The clouds have parted. The sun shines again for this young man who's become a real viable component and he serves more of an answer, a solution to any of the problems that the Carolina Panthers have had.
Yes, and he's got a unique ability to extend plays and get the ball down the field, usually to the right guy. He's stopped the Wild and Willie stuff and getting the ball to the right guy. And he's deceptively fast. I don't know what he runs on a watch. I'd probably say 4.7, something like that. But he's deceptively fast, and he fools defenses. He fools contained people. It happens every week. So when that occurs, you know it's real. It's not a one-off. But if anybody can make it at 5'11" in the NFL as a playoff quarterback, it's Bryce Young, because he's one of the most dedicated, hardworking, intelligent, tough guys I've ever seen. I had a chance to be around him a little bit when Frank Reich was the coach here in Carolina, and he is an impressive guy. And I've often said, except for a difference in arm strength, and there is, I wouldn't say it's significant, but it's real. There is a difference in arm strength. Everything else, if he were 6'4", he's Peyton Manning. But he's not. He's 5'11". So we're going to see in the end if that actually is the hindrance that most people seem to think it is, because now we're in a playoff hunt. But if anybody can make it at that size because of the intangibles, it's Bryce Young. And by the way, I forgot to mention that the offensive line coach who has done wonders with this offensive line in Carolina is Joe Gilbert. And you're quite right, Dan Morgan, quietly, without any fanfare, without any... I mean, you got to find Dan first before you get a quote out of him.
He's in the bowels of the building.
He's looking at film. He's out on the road looking at players. I mean, he's a GM's GM.
He really is.
He manages the way he played linebacker. But he's done a magnificent job plugging holes, bringing people in who can play. And the example, of course, being the running back, Dowdle, who came over as a free agent from Dallas and who now is a trendsetter.
Congratulations. Oh, by the way, I've always kept a small little space in my critique for quarterbacks who are not above 6 feet. Only because I had this affinity for one player who I watched just kill the league for years. Could he run? Yeah. Could he get out of the pocket? Yeah. But could he play from the pocket? Absolutely. Did he carve up teams and take at least 4 teams to a Super Bowl? Absolutely. And that was the great Fran Tarkenton. When he retired from the game, in fact, when he left college at the University of Georgia, he owned all the record books in the passing annals of college football history. When he left the NFL, he owned all the record books until Dan Marino passed him. Fran Tarkenton was one of the most prolific passers in the college game, in the pro game, and he could not have been a skosh above 6 feet, Bill. In fact, that That was with elevated heels, by the way.
Okay, folks, you see that? Now it's great, okay? Sometimes, and listen, what shocked me was the fact that he said, oh, make Bryce Young 6'4", and he's Peyton Manning. I always thought Peyton had a better arm than Bryce, but hey, Bill Polian's a professional. He seems to think there's a smidge of difference, but not much. A lot of it may be accuracy. And you know what? The next few games, the next few weeks, we'll find out. Because look at your schedule and ask you, which offense and defense can we succeed in? There's going to be games, the Rams, the Seahawks. There's going to be games that they can win whether they're running or not running. And is our pass rush good enough? That's up to the defensive coordinator. Those things matter. I was in a chat. Yeah, in a chat with Kurt Warner. How'd you like that? And Kurt Warner has a son that's a little undersized, want to go play quarterback. We were talking about another ex-quarterback's son in the NFL, I think McCown. And, I always like to see that. But Kurt believed the same way and described it the same way Bill Polian does, the same way I've learned to. You know what? You take a quarterback, they're all going to have their own little issues, and you don't worry about the 5'10", you work around it. You figure out what system he's good at, what can he do best, and you work around that. You can't always get a guy who's exactly the way you want him. Bryce, Mr. Cool Bryce, he's the guy. He doesn't get shaken in the pocket, and I don't believe there's a tougher quarterback in the NFL today. So, folks, he has 9 2-minute comeback wins. 9 comeback wins. Nobody had a record like that. 9. In the short time he's been a quarterback here, 9 comeback wins. He is, quote, your 2-minute comeback specialist. There's nobody in the NFL like him. 9 comeback wins. That's fact. All right, folks, remember, the Blue and Black Attack podcast is where you can find the accuracy. You know where to find us on Twitter. Click the link, like, subscribe, notifications on. You'll get it. Hey, listen, we're doing some shorts right now. The big shows are coming. Just keep your shirt on or take it off, whichever you like. But turn that camera off if you take your shirt off, boys and girls. Well, at least the boys anyway. Keep pounding, y'all. Always remember, keep pounding. And remember what keep pounding stands for. Keep pounding means we don't quit. The Blue and Black podcast doesn't quit on the Carolina Panthers or take a break. Keep pounding.